Check. Referee mic check. 1, 2.
At this time, in honor of those who serve and protect us, we ask you to rise, remove all headgear, and turn your attentions to the north side of the field for the Stars and Stripes and the singing of our national anthem, performed tonight by Brianna Helbling. Presenting the Stars and Stripes tonight are the Bismarck Mandan 4th Degree Knights of Columbus. Please remain standing and silent until the colors are retired through the end zone on the south field.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home ever there brave.
That's right. Let's give it up for Brianna Helbling and the Knights of Columbus. Now we go to midfield and direct your attention to the coin toss for tonight's game.
No, you guys are good.
There you have it, the national anthem in the books. Time for the coin toss. The Bucks 1-1 this season as far as the 50-50 proposition goes. Losing it in Grand Island, winning it in Tucson, Arizona. And the start going to be pivotal. The Bucks last week, a 35-point second half to just one score in the opening couple of quarters. You can't fall behind this Sioux Falls team by a lot. So these opening seconds, pivotal for the hometown team.
Yeah, without question. They need to play some disciplined football. They need to be able to hang on to that football. And again, the Storm don't need any help. So Bismarck has to be disciplined. They have to utilize what few opportunities they will be given by the Storm. So like you said, this is going to be important for them to get off to a good, sound start.
And it's funny, you talk about Sioux Falls and you think the offensive numbers must be overwhelming with a team like this. They really aren't. Lorenzo Brown under 200 passing yards a week ago, and up and down game week 1, but it's the everything else that they do so well. They had a kickoff return for a touchdown week 1. They lead the league in defensive touchdowns. They just find a way to get it done kind of everywhere.
Yeah, and they're going to get everybody involved. You know, they have so many good players across their roster. Everybody's going to get an opportunity to touch the ball a number of different times. So this is the last thing you'll ever see them do is chase stats. You know, they're just focused on execution and making the most of every drive, getting points every drive.
There you see the captains right at center field for the Bismarck Bucks, and the big one, second from the left. John Gibbs, active today. However, both quarterbacks find themselves on the upper part of the 21-man roster, the number you're allowed to bring into game day. So Gibbs is able to go. Ultimately a game-time decision, and we'll see who comes out at quarterback to open things up for the Bucks. You also see Mike Tatum out there for the Bucks. We will catch up with him at halftime. Had a chance to speak to Mike yesterday while they were setting the field up here at the Bismarck Event Center. So an interview with the Bucks leading target Mike Tatum coming your way.
Bucks have won the coin toss and have
here
deferred
on Beck Sports.
Bismarck won the coin toss, chose to defer.
Bucks will win the toss and elect to defer. By the way, the remaining captains were Stephon Hall and the lone returner Antoine Smith. And Coach, we haven't gotten to talk to you since this roster was really assembled.
Football player
Bringing
can cause
Twan
a
back,
great deal of damage.
huge, just kind of that safety
keep
quarterback
you safe.
of the defensive
So
backfield.
please follow the
and
game
one of the
closely
phenomenal
with your
tacklers for the Bucks
eyes.
last year.
Yeah, he did it. He's done a great job, and you know, bringing him back was really, really key. Like you said, you know, he's been in the fire. He's seen, you know, most everything that can get thrown at him. But to be able to have that type of vet in your defensive backfield is so important.
It was a Bucks roster that was recruited away in many ways. You see a ton of former Bucks all across differing levels of indoor football. Your guy Trey Boone got signed to the brand new San Diego team.
Yep.
And a number of different opportunities as this program continues to churn out talent. No doubt they'll do so again here in year number 3. One of the reasons the Bucks moved up to the highest level of indoor football to renew a regional rivalry with Sioux Falls. The Battle of the Dakotas, the Dakota Duel, whatever you want to name the rivalry, it's back.
You know, and I remember very well the first time that this actually happened. It was my first game coaching in indoor football. With the Rough Riders back then. It was Sioux Falls here.
Yep.
I think it was back in 2002. But it's been a long time since I've been back.
A long time coming. Blake gets ready to send it away, and the IFL home schedule is underway for the Bucks. Here comes Trayvon Chapman, the backup quarterback and kick returner. Everyone does a little bit of everything in this Sioux Falls attack. First down and 10 from just outside the 20-yard line at the 18.
One thing I would expect to see from Sioux Falls right off the bat is to take a shot. You know, coach is a mastermind at understanding what the defense is going to throw at him, and he would like nothing better than to take a shot right now, get a quick score on the board, take the crowd out of it a little bit, and take a little, you know, steam out of the building. But we'll see what they go with.
The Bucks have been unable to get a stop on the opening drive in either of their first 2 games. They go to ground first play, and a great start initially with the running back Darian Miller running into his own guy twice. Could not get past Forrestal Hickman, the offensive lineman for Sioux Falls, and no gain on first down.
Yeah, that was a crucial start for Bismarck. Again, I expect them to take a shot, but I know just from watching that Nebraska game, I have a feeling they're going to want to try to establish a run game here against Bismarck as well.
Lorenzo Brown, the quarterback out of the University of Sioux Falls, completing his first pass near side. Kent Shelby out across midfield and out to the 24-yard line. A gain of 8 on second down to make it 3rd and short. Trips off to Brown's left. He gives to Miller. Darian Miller just past the line to gain. First down, Sioux Falls.
One of many things that Sioux Falls does extremely well is run the football. They're going to do it. They're going to spread the field. They're going to run between the guards. They're going to pull guards. They're going to have, quarterback runs. They're going to have just everything in the book, and they really keep you on your heels.
They got a good one doing it. Darian Miller, the CIF MVP last year with the Sioux City Bandits, a familiar name for Bucks fans. Brown with time right down the middle of the field. Tackle eventually made by Michael Jenkins, but not before a red zone trip ensues for Sioux Falls. Second catch of the day for Kent Shelby.
Yeah, Brown was looking for that post route to Shepard to open up. But again, with the Storm, they're going to have levels in their passing game. They wanted to go with that high level post, but again, they just hit the dig, take what's there.
10 yards to set up first down and goal from the 9. Trips to the right now of Brown. Option, he pitches. Miller bottled up, and there is Antoine Smith.
Nice job by Smith. Just playing assignment, sharp football right there.
Play the quarterback and the running back. It's how you beat the option, a loss of 2. Lorenzo Brown Jr., the quarterback, good in the air and certainly on the ground. The IFL leading rusher at the quarterback position as they bottle up there of Darian Miller, basically getting back to the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and goal with 8 to go.
One thing that becomes tricky for visiting teams is once they get into that red zone, there is not much room to work with. And if there's one team that knows how to handle that, it's the Storm. Back in the day when they played at the old Storm shelter, their end zones were smaller than these Bismarck end zones. So they'll look to probably try to run that football.
Good pressure on Brown. Brown sending it high, and it's 4th down. Outstanding work by Jamaron Johnson, getting some heat on the Sioux Falls hurler.
Yeah, Bismarck is, again, this drive is starting off just about as best, this is best case scenario for Bismarck to be able to hold Sioux Falls to a field goal. And speaking of field goal kickers, this guy is something else.
Miles Bergner, the former USD Coyote, all IFL first team a year ago. Over 80% on the year on field goals, 100% on extra points. Bergner up and good. Storm make it 3-0, but the Bucks getting some heat on the preeminent franchise in the IFL. You're watching Bucks football on Beck Sports.
For those who thirst for more, Coors Light is colder, cleaner, and crisper. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
From concept to creation at House of Color, it's all about you and your remodel experience. Our cabinet design team creates engaging spaces to fit you and your lifestyle. The kitchen you've been waiting for is closer than you imagined. Call House of Color today.
Prairie Knights just raised the stakes on playtime with a $40,500 Play to Win giveaway. Get here this Sunday for your chance to win a matching cash prize and free play prize up to $500. And all you have to do is play your favorite game to qualify. If you're going to play, you might as well play to win. Get to Prairie Knights for the Play to Win giveaway. And don't miss Charlie Pride live on Saturday, April 27th. Feel lucky tonight.
The Buck defense stands tall in the opening drive. Now Bergner gets ready to send it away. The 2 returners, the IFL's all-time leader in all-purpose yards in Mike Tatum, as well as Will Gibbs, neither of whom are going to get a chance. Sioux Falls just steers it out of bounds, saying, you know what, we don't want to mess with either of those guys. And so the Bucks will begin at the 18-yard line.
One thing that we've got to watch for as this game progresses is Sioux Falls is not afraid to onside kick at any point in the game, and if the upbacks for the Bucks are going to be at the 20-yard line, there's only 4 guys covering an awful lot of turf there, so that might be something that the Bucks have to look out for.
And the Bucks will return to their starting quarterback from game 1, John Gibbs, active and ready to go. Gibbs, quick hitter, first play, and delivers on time. The catch to Brandon Clark for a gain of 10 and a Buck first down.
I like this. It's nice, decisive, taking what's there. And again, the Storm, they're going to play some coverage. They're going to make sure that you don't get anything over top of them. So typically there might be a hole somewhere, and Gibbs can be decisive like that. That's a good sign for the Bucks.
Gibbs injured last week, gritting it out right here for his guys. And a very good first pass. Brief official pause. Now we're ready to go. All checks out. First down and 10 for Bismarck. Trips to Gibbs' left. Another quick hitter. Fred Abraham making a couple of guys miss.
It's a great job of blocking by the receivers, both Tatum and Clark. They did a great job blocking. Tatum blocked his man in, Clark blocked his man out, and it worked out just the way it should.
Second down and 4 after the catch by Fred Abraham. The Rod Miller offense can be summed up very easily, touchdown or check down. The screens fall into the check down category, and the Bucks doing a great job of it so far. Gibbs a little bit off, trying to get it to Tatum. Gibbs points to his own chest, my bad. Probably thought that Mike was going to cut that thing back.
Yeah. One thing he does that I like is he tries to get rid of that football really, really quick. And with that defensive line that they're playing against, I think it's within his best.
In a way today that we have not seen through the first couple of weeks. John Gibbs just completing his drop and go and doing it again, just a bit off. Intended for Fred Abraham, second target for the leading man in Tucson, Arizona for the Bucks. Bring up fourth down and short, and the Bucks are going to leave the offense out there.
Looks like they're going quads.
Empty backfield. Gibbs going for that long pitch, diagnosed by Trey Wofford.
Clark, the timing was all messed up on that one. That's definitely a timing play, and Clark has got to be able to get that running at full speed, but I think he saw the Storm defensive backs just really, really playing hard and aggressive on that one.
That's what this Sioux Falls team does so well. Led the league last year in yardage allowed, and after a couple of plays, the all-IFL first-team defensive back, Trey Wofford, makes a big play on the outside, and the Storm take over at the 22-yard line. Clean pocket, Brown taking his shot, nearly intercepted. A great chance for Joe Blunt as he gets the pass breakup.
Outstanding job by Blunt to be able to drift off of his man right into the path, and that was a sure touchdown if he's not there to deflect that. Outstanding play.
Joe Blunt playing games 2 and 3 for the Bucks has really been an invaluable addition. Brown passing again, this time completing as Brandon Shepard working his way down to the 24-yard line of Bismarck. Another former Sioux City Bandit making the trip north to Sioux Falls, and Brandon Shepard.
He's a heck of a player.
Yep.
And he can do it all. He can run, he can receive, You know, and he's a big body. That's something that you see with these Storm receivers, 6'3", 6'2", 6'2", and they can all run.
Brandon Shepard is all Big 12 first team, top 20 in the nation out of Oklahoma State, and was very nearly a buck last year. Here comes Brown, the rushing quarterback. Inside the 15, coming up with the football is Jamaron Johnson, but the officials continue to point towards Sioux Falls.
That was again, they've got everything covered. And a nice hustle play right here. Who was that, Johnson?
Yep.
Great hustle play.
Bucks have kind of a legit case there. You see JJ pokes that ball out well before Brown is out and with a clear recovery, but they're gonna let it go. JJ jumped that snap perfectly, but it winds up creating the lane, and the IFL's leading rusher at quarterback in terms of touchdowns delivers another, Lorenzo Brown.
That's what he does. He is so good. You could see the nose guard just stops playing, and he's got to be a force there. The ends are keeping contained, and it's a little bit too easy for Brown just to step up and run that ball in.
There was a flag mid-play, so we'll check on the laundry for the first time. It's an illegal defense against the Bucks, so that won't matter. So the IFL rushing king from the quarterback spot adds to his already lengthy resume. One of the true veterans in the IFL, over 30 years old, the quarterback Lorenzo Brown. Hasn't missed a single extra point all year, and Bergner delivers another 10-0 Storm as you're watching Bucks football on Beck Sports.
For those who thirst for more, Coors Light is lagered, filtered, and packaged cold for a crisper, cleaner finish to refresh you for what's next. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
People depend on a healthy food supply always being there. We take great pride in what we've built here, and we want to pass that on.
Running a family farm isn't easy. We can't control the weather, ever-changing farm policies, and up and down farm prices, but we manage to keep going to provide the safest food supply we can.
To be a farmer, you have to be committed, and it isn't so much a choice as it is a calling.
Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
10-0, the Bucks getting in front of their home fans. And a low knuckler secured by Brandon Clark. Clark trying to reverse field, Brandon Clark. Eventually brought down from behind, just north of midfield. So the Bucks get their best starting field position of the day by a long shot.
Where it'll be first down for your Bismarck Bucks.
Yeah, this is an important drive. You know, they've got to be able to manufacture some type of points, especially with this field position. Got to get something out of this. You can't give Storm this big of a cushion without answering.
Got to the Sioux Falls 17 last time before a turnover on downs. Gibbs thinking touchdown, gets the pitch out at the last second. The improbability of one John Gibbs on display.
And that's what the Bucks missed last week, is just his ability when everything is breaking down. It's a really unique ability to be able to know where your guys are at and just make something happen.
Managed to just get it out to Deontay Thomas, the starting running back for the Bucks, with Jeff Mack, the original opener, on IR for the remainder of the season. Trips left, quick drop. John's in trouble again. John Gibbs getting back to the line of scrimmage.
There, I think, you know, Coach Hermanson is going to be real. That time, you know, he's very physical with his defensive backs, just eliminating the cushion, which now is making Gibbs hang on to the football. And that's not something that he wants to do.
The defensive back group that more often than not finds themselves on the All-IFL list. have a couple defensive rookie of the year as well, and that's an INT. Sioux Falls leads the league in defensive touchdowns, and they've got another. Matt McCoy into the end zone.
Yeah, they brought the heat on this one. Everybody arrived at the quarterback at the same time. And again, that ability to try to make things happen at the last minute can also bite you in the butt as well. Case in point.
If you wonder how Sioux Falls has been as dominant as they have, their quarterback only averaging about 180 through the air, that's how. A late flag, though, on Sioux Falls. I think an unsportsmanlike coming against SF to push back the ensuing drive. Coach Riggs arguing his point, but it will be an unsportsmanlike conduct against Sioux Falls. They tag DeAndre Scott, and we'll see that one after the ensuing kickoff.
You know, and if you're Bismarck, you've just got to play football. You can't look at the scoreboard. You've just got to settle in. Got to eliminate those mistakes. Got to be able to communicate. Got to find out what they're giving you. You know, how are the Storm adjusting? And now you've got to meet their adjustments and try to keep that ball away from them.
Bit of a high snap, but Sioux Falls doesn't miss extra points. 17-0 Storm as you're watching Bucks football on Beck Sports.
Bucks football is presented by the following. Rehab Authority, the official physical therapy facility of the Bucks. Stadium Sports Bar of Bismarck, the official sponsor of the Bucks training table. Cluton Property Management, the official housing partner of the Bucks. Bucks football is presented by the following. Baker Family Medicine, the official healthcare provider of the Bucks. Buffalo Wild Wings, the official and only wing restaurant bar sponsor of the Bucks. Verge Fitness, the official workout facility of the Bucks.
The Sioux Falls Storm showcasing why they are the shining example here in the IFL. A fantastic start. Here's the good news. The Bucks are going to get a ton after this kickoff return. Tatum unable to play it off the wall. Mike's got to get out of the end zone. Tatum trying to escape. He does not. And the ball came out. Loose in the back of the end zone.
I think this is going to be this will be a touchdown here.
Sioux Falls is scoring no matter what, rouge or touchdown. No signal yet from the officials. It was DeAndre Scott who came out with the football. Touchdown, Sioux Falls. The announcement is, as you saw it, Tatum unable to get out of the end zone. He took that dive and Sioux Falls knocked the ball away. Touchdown, Storm.
Tough break. You know, when you're playing the Storm, usually, you know, you guys get caught up in trying to do too much. And obviously, you know, this game means a lot to Mike, and he's trying to help his team win. But, you know, that's a mistake that we've seen it a million times. If you're an indoor football fan, that'll cost you.
You're watching Bucks football on Beck Sports.
What happened to us? We used to gather in proud arenas. Now we're watching March Madness while stuck in work holes.
Loser.
Jerk. Or shoved in man caves. We've been left alone with a DVR replay while trying not to wake the baby. Enough! Let's make our Fancestors proud and follow the tribe to B-Dubs so we can fill our beers, crush all the wings, and pound every single game. You want madness? That's March Madness. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Bucks football is presented by the following. Buffalo Wild Wings, Qdoba, Poncheros, Bruno's Pizza, Cafe Aroma, Herberts and Gerberts, Bismarck Amvets, Bismarck Elks, Caribou Coffee, KFC, Taco Del Mar, and Stadium Sports Bar.
Sioux Falls has scored a touchdown in just about every way possible, at least in all three phases of the game: offense, defense, and teams. Another nice low knuckler from Bergner. Will Gibbs seeing it go over the wall. Well, you don't get to be an all-IFL player with just field goals and extra points, as Miles Bergner showing the ability on kickoffs as well. So that ball will be spotted at the 5 and then moved up, as that unsportsmanlike conduct was never enforced after the touchdown from Sioux Falls.
Right. Yeah, the Storm seem to have this knack of finding a kicker every couple years, and they just end up being the best kicker in the league.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, and that kicked a 54-yarder against Nebraska last week, and that was an amazing, amazing kick.
3 years in the IFL for Miles Bergner. Started with the Colorado Crush, the All-Missouri Valley Conference. We know what that means in this neck of the woods. Gibbs going for that quick hitter, and it is swatted away by Charles Williams. The old cliche goes, if you can't get to the quarterback, stick your big paws up. Williams does that.
Yeah. And again, these guys are coached real well. They understand that Bismarck is trying to get rid of the ball quickly. So they're very well coached. They're intelligent players. They know exactly what to expect.
Williams all academic team in college, to your point. Sioux Falls bringing the blitz. Gibbs climbs the ladder. Here comes John Gibbs. And John makes it all the way to the 22-yard line.
Good to see him pop up. He took a shot.
Again, injured last week. Really grinding here for the Bucks. John Gibbs will make it 3rd down and 2.
You know, as I like to do, just want to give everybody in the indoor football forum, those guys always, they've been following indoor football for so long and supporting the game. Just want to give those guys a shout out as they watch.
Gibbs trying to get that quick hitter. The comebacker route falls incomplete, intended for Mike Tatum. Trey Wofford applying the coverage for Sioux Falls. Bucks will go for it again on 4th down. 0 for 1 on the day. Again, they're going to empty the backfield. Last time, John played from under center. This time they go quads with him in the gun. Gibbs knocked away. The pass breakup to TJ Neal. And for the second time, Sioux Falls will turn the Bucks over on downs.
Yeah, Neal saw that. They kind of baited Bismarck into throwing that pass. You know, Neal knew exactly where that was going. The DB didn't jump it because he understood that he had that flat defender. Neal running out there, that thing just went right through his hands.
Special shout out to some of the sponsors making Bucks football possible. Jerome's Distributing Coors Light, the official beer of the Bucks, and of course Jerome's presence in our community with a number of local brews and national ones, as well as Dakota Community Bank, the official bank of the Bucks. Without the community, they're just a bank. Dakota Community Bank. Loudest it's been all day. Bucks fans trying to get their guys in it. Bobbled, caught, down to the 19-yard line. Brandon Shepard's second catch of the day.
Coverage is a little bit soft. I think we got a little something going on after the play here.
Lorenzo Brown signals face mask to Coach Riggs here on the near side. It was certainly a very late flag in the timing area.
I think they're going to get the wide receiver for pushing off on the DB's face.
An unsportsmanlike conduct against Brandon Shepard for throwing the ball at the head of a Bucks player.
And that's definitely not something that you see typically from a Sioux Falls team. that's one way, last week against Nebraska, Nebraska was caught up with a lot of chippiness and doing things like that. Sioux Falls just walked away from it, so.
Didn't throw the ball so much as just shove it down onto the helmet. Second unsportsmanlike conduct of the day for the Storm. As you noted, you don't often see it. First down and a long ways here for Sioux Falls. Brown staying in, now taking off. Brown trying to ward it off. That's good defensive work right there by the Bucks. Makini Manu first in, he passes him off to Cam Hall. And the newest addition to the Bucks roster comes up with his first tackle.
Yeah. Manu did a much better job being active there, not watching the play, contributing and getting after it, and they're going to need him to be able to produce in that middle. The ends are doing a good job at getting upfield and making sure that the quarterback's not rolling out and rolling out of the pocket. And I think we're going to take that one to the quarter.
It'll be 2nd and 8 as the first quarter comes to an end. Sioux Falls 24, Bucks nothing, as you're watching Buck football on Beck Sports.
What happened to us? We used to gather in proud arenas. Now we're watching March Madness while stuck in work holes.
Loser.
Jerk. Or shoved in man caves. We've been left alone with a DVR replay while trying not to wake the baby. Enough! Let's make our Fanchesters proud and follow the tribe to B-dubs so we can fill our beers, crush all the wings, and pound every single game. You want madness? That's March Madness. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Every day, we rise, bend, twist, walk, run, and do the things we love. They are simple things until they are not. So if pain is holding you back from simple tasks, work, playing sports, or spending time with loved ones, West River Chiropractic can help you get the relief you need so you can enjoy the things you love. Take the step to a happier, healthier life by calling West River Chiropractic at 701-663-3380 or go online to westriverchiro.com. West River Chiropractic is proud to be the official team chiropractor of the Bismarck Bucks. West River Chiropractic. Family, wellness, athletics.
Back at it in a game brought to us by Farmers Union Insurance as well as Dakota Community Bank. A fantastic start for the Storm. The good news is the Bucks in front of the home faithful still have a whole lot of ball game left. They go to ground. Miller wrapped up. Flying in and making the play. 2 tackles in a row now for Cameron Hall.
Getting that production, that linebacker is really important for them.
Obviously had one of their defensive anchors there the last couple of years in Jarrell Miller, the linebacker out of Jamestown.
Yeah.
Getting his chance down in Orlando now, so not here on this Bucks roster. Big shoes to fill. Perhaps it's the new guy who does so in Cam Hall. 3rd down and long. Brown taking the shot. Knocked away and ultimately caught right into the waiting hands of Brandon Shepard, but a flag at the 22-yard line. Get another look at it right here. That's great job by Jenkins to get a hand on it. Pass interference against Jenkins. Sioux Falls will say no thanks. Touchdown stands. The long score for Brandon Shepard. Bergner extra point is up, and it is good. 31-0. Storm lead it here in Bismarck. You're watching Buck football on Beck Sports.
Bucks football is presented by the following: Buffalo Wild Wings, Qdoba, Poncheros, Bruno's Pizza, Cafe Aroma, Herberts and Gerberts, Bismarck Amvets, Bismarck Elks, Caribou Coffee, KFC, Taco Del Bar, and Stadium Sports Bar.
People depend on a healthy food supply always being there. We take great pride in what we've built here, and we want to pass that on.
Running a family farm isn't easy. We can't control the weather, ever-changing farm policies, and up and down farm prices, but we manage to keep going to provide the safest food supply we can.
To be a farmer, you have to be committed, and it isn't so much a choice as it is a calling.
Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
"14 minutes till the break. Long way to go. Bucks could certainly use the time to regroup, have to try and create some momentum. These guys have done an outstanding job of being a great second half team, but you need something. Try and get going. Tatum going to return his first kick of the year. The IFL all-time all-purpose yardage leader in Mike Tatum.
And they're going to get some more tacked onto this one.
Yep. A third dead ball penalty against Sioux Falls, if indeed it is against the Storm.
Yeah, and that wasn't necessary. I don't know if that was necessarily a personal foul, but definitely wasn't necessary.
Late hit is indeed the call. And so the Bucks get their best starting field position of the day by a long shot. Ball comes all the way to the plus 18-yard line. Sioux Falls a bit undisciplined after the play, but all doing their job during it. Now the Bucks try and take advantage as they make a change at quarterback. Homer Causey in. Read option, Deontay Thomas picks up a couple of yards. So after a tough start for an injured John Gibbs, Rod Miller will make the change and bring in the quarterback from last week in Homer Causey. Showed some similar improv ability to what John can do, and ultimately orchestrated a 35-point second half en route to just about 200 yards through the air. And he was the leading rusher on the day for the Bucks.
I think, if Gibbs is a little bit banged up, I think this is a sound move to make this change and see if they can create a spark here.
Causey looking end zone, too tall. Intended for Mike Tatum. Coverage applied down to Richard Dickerson III.
He's definitely trying to make something happen here, but I think, Coach would have loved to have seen him hang on to that football.
Yeah.
And try to get them a little bit closer to that first down.
You certainly understand the thinking here. Down big, you're supposed to be the spark, and you got this awesome field position.
Yeah, absolutely.
Low snap, Causey handles it. Blitz comes, Causey looking, end zone! Just a little bit too much loft. Almost turned that into a little fade route there at the end for Fred Abraham.
Absolutely, we got a flag down on the field here, so.
Resting at the 6-yard line, so whatever it is, it was way downtown off the play. Pass interference against Sioux Falls. First down, Bismarck.
Again, we're seeing Sioux Falls commit some uncharacteristic mistakes here.
First down and goals. The ball is right at the 10-yard line. So no more first downs to be had. This feels like a must score here for the Bucks to try and get going. Trips to Causey's right. They're all blocking for Deontay Thomas, who is wrestled out of bounds by Charles Williams.
One very difficult thing is trying to run on the Storm. Where do you run? It's hard to run outside because they always have athletic defensive ends, guys that can play linebacker. They're so tough to get outside on.
It's a couple tackles today now for Charles Williams. All conference in college and in high school out of Broward County, Florida. One One of the best you'll find in the prep ranks. 2-by-2, Causey under pressure. Homer gets away and eventually wrapped up by Trey Wofford.
Storm always seemed to have success getting guys out of that GLIAC conference. Williams out of Northwood, and then you got Mike McCoy, that safety, is the GLIAC defensive back of the year from Saginaw Valley State. He's doing a great job. These two safeties, goodness gracious, they're some good football players.
Yeah, a few different all GLIAC guys, as you noted, on this Sioux Falls team. They find the small college guys and the big ones. You can look at South Florida, Akron, FBS programs. Look at end zone, knocked away. There's Trey Wofford out of Middle Tennessee State. Bucks fans looking for a PI call will not get their second on this series.
Yeah, that one was close. I thought for sure they'd throw a flag there, but again, he's a hard one to have success against.
And what's funny about Wofford, he played linebacker in college, and you saw it on that last play when he came in to make the tackle. But I guess a coverage linebacker, as now he's playing defensive back and doing so exceptionally well.
Yeah.
Bucks going to try and get their first points here. Blake comes in. And a challenge flag is thrown by Rod Miller. I think Rod Miller is asking to challenge whether that was pass interference, which is not challengeable. You can challenge almost anything in the IFL. There's just about one thing you can't, and it's that.
Yeah, they obviously didn't have these challenge, challenge deals, when I was coaching in the IFL, and I wish they did.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that was one that you could.
No. And what's funny, the IFL is even more allowing than the CIF. In the CIF, there are a lot more restrictions. IFL, you can literally challenge everything except pass interference. The field goal is up and good. The Bucks are on the board, trying to get the spark. You're watching Buck Football on Beck Sports.
From concept to creation at House of Color, it's all about you and your remodel experience. Our cabinet design team creates engaging spaces to fit you and your lifestyle. The kitchen you've been waiting for is closer than you imagined. Call House of Color today.
Coors Light has a lighter, crisper taste. So you're ready for what's next. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Welcome you back in as the Storm lead at 31-3. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, this time against the Bucks. They get Blake Levin, the kicker, for trying to get the fans fired up. I don't know about that. But I guess when the Sioux Falls Storm have a bunch of unsportsmanlike penalties, officials try and even it out. Just to clarify my point about the challenge rules, the biggest difference between CIF and IFL, in the IFL, you could challenge even an offside, because you can go back to video replay and definitively determine was the guy offside or not. So the IFL says go right ahead. The only thing you can't is pass interference because it's a judgment call.
Yep.
Just about the only one left in football. You think back, many of you NFL fans, all those years ago, there used to be that rule shoved out of bounds.
Right.
And the pass could be completed if the guy was pushed out of bounds. That was a judgment call by the official.
Yeah.
The NFL and all of football wanted to take as many of those out as possible. That play no longer exists. But there is one, as the New Orleans Saints know well, and pass interference remains. Levin comes right down the middle. It's picked up, and here comes a return for Darian Miller. Darian Miller stumbling forward and working his way just shy of midfield.
And that's a guy that's just been waiting to break loose. He's, last week against Nebraska, they just didn't go to him often.
No.
Nebraska was playing extremely well against the run in terms of between the guards and in that middle of the field. But I know as this game wears on, I'd be surprised if they did not see him, if we didn't see him getting a lot of carries, a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. Again, that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Blake's going to get the ball shoved forward here. We noted it, the offensive numbers don't blow you away for Sioux Falls for Miller or Brown. But they just get it done week in and week out. And that's a Nebraska team that we got to show you week one here. And I genuinely think they have the best defensive line in all of the IFL. Led by a guy out of the University of Oklahoma who is NFL caliber talent.
I thought they were, yeah, like you said, talent-wise, they are outstanding.
Brown delivering on time to Darian Miller. A reminder, the former Bandit can catch it as well as run it. He's down to the 5-yard line. Sioux Falls can get a first down here. They're a couple of yards away from it. Don't necessarily need a touchdown.
You know, with the emphasis being on disciplined play, I think that's one thing that's been hurting Nebraska so far is, you know, when you watch them play, they haven't been as disciplined as they need to. Sioux Falls is usually really, really on par. They don't shoot themselves in the foot with those type of mistakes.
The little jump pass there intended for Miller, and it falls incomplete. There's a flag all the way on the far side of the field.
Looked like the Storm were setting up just a simple wide receiver screen there. The defensive backs were so close.
That flag was thrown at the feet of the other new addition of this Bucks roster in Donnie Duncan, former member of the University of New Mexico football program. And we get an extended conference here. I wonder if a guy didn't get too far down the field and ultimately try and set a pick to essentially create OPI. Now we'll check the call. An illegal defense against the Bucks. They tag Duncan not being lined up with a receiver. A number of rules very restrictive of the defense. Have to be matched up, can only have one linebacker who has to play in between the linemen, the alley, as they call it. A lot of rules geared towards offense, and that's one of them that winds up biting the Bucks. First down and goal from the 2. This seems like prime Miller time. That's where they go. Darian Miller in the end zone, touchdown Sioux Falls.
Yep, pretty simple. You called it. Storm offensive line doing what Storm offensive lines do. Just get massive push up front. And Miller walks in.
An all too familiar sight for the Bucks faithful. Darian Miller had some tremendous games for the Sioux City Bandits, both here in the event center, one time and ultimately what was a Bucks win, and plenty of times at the Tyson Event Center in Sioux City, Iowa. The Bucks will not miss that particular venue for a number of reasons, as the extra point is up and good. Storm up by a big way. You're watching Buck Football on Beck Sports.
From concept to creation at House of Color, it's all about you and your remodel experience. Our cabinet design team creates engaging spaces to fit you and your lifestyle. The kitchen you've been waiting for is closer than you imagined. Call House of Color today.
People depend on a healthy food supply always being there. We take great pride in what we've built here, and we want to pass that on.
Running a family farm isn't easy. We can't control the weather, ever-changing farm policies, and up and down farm prices, but we manage to keep going to provide the safest food supply we can.
To be a farmer, you have to be committed, and it isn't so much a choice as it is a calling.
Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Coors Light has a lighter, crisper taste. So you're ready for what's next. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
The Bucks started this one out strong. Some decisive passing, moving the ball, defense limiting them to a field goal. But Sioux Falls has turned it around and limited the Bucks to 3. Bergner gets ready to send it away. Bergner, that low knuckler, And here comes the first return attempt for Will Gibbs. He was amazing in Tucson. Gibbs trying to reverse field, and this time some great discipline. The tackle drawing a flag as Rick Rumpf, for now, the one bringing Gibbs to the ground.
Yeah. The Bucks are lucky this will be a face mask.
That's the signal. But they're going to wave it off. And so the Bucks will begin at the 14-yard line. Will Gibbs, added just about a week ago, was the last addition before the Bucks made their trip to Tucson. A guy out of the University of Houston, track and field star, especially in the hurdle. And you got a chance to see the athleticism even right there.
Yeah. He's going to have a little bit harder time getting loose against the Storm defense, but
Yeah.
if they can just even give him a crack to run through.
Causey getting his second drive. He fakes the pitch. Causey with room to run. Homer Causey to the Sioux Falls 20-yard line. A gain of 16 and a Buck first down.
Very nice job by Causey, just making things happen here. Does a good job protecting the football. Loses his helmet, but he's trying to step up and make plays for his team.
From their own 14 to the SF 20, just like that. The rushing ability of Homer Causey was the Bucks' primary weapon a week ago in Tucson, Arizona. This time he is hit hard. Matt McCoy with the pick six already, showcasing the ability.
Another thing that Coach Hermanson's defensive backs do really well, when they are flat defenders, it seems like, you know, they have an eye on their area and they have an eye in that backfield, and boy, do they close quickly when they see run.
They get Causey going for 1 yard with forward progress, so it's 2nd down and 9. Flag before the start.
To wait a little long for that snap. They're going to get Tatum offsides.
False start against Mike Tatum on the Bucks. Causey dropping, looking just out of the reach of Tatum. Mike was open down the middle of the field.
Yeah, Mike was running a dig route right there, and it was just.
So make it 3rd down and 14. Homer, the veteran quarterback, played in Cedar Rapids and spent a good amount of time. Your old stomping ground, the Green Bay Blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
Bucks will see them twice. Once in Titletown and once here at the Bismarck Event Center. Causey climbing the ladder, gets away, dropping it off. Again, intended for Tatum, who was by himself in the heart of the Sioux Falls D, but an incompletion.
Tatum's been the guy for the Bucks early on. You know, he just seems to be in the right place at the right time, but tonight just obviously a little bit off, and it's hard to gel, you know, when the quarterback has changed.
Constantly changing.
You know, that's very difficult to be able to develop that type of chemistry.
We talked about that with Mike again at halftime of this one. We will give you an interview with Mike Tatum going against his former team. Get his thoughts on this year's Sioux Falls organization, as well as the first couple of weeks here in the Peace Garden State. Levin could not get it to go. Nearly a 40-yard strike offline. Sioux Falls will take over. Reminder that Farmers Union Insurance is the official insurance partner of the Bucks. No matter what town you're in all across North Dakota, you can find a Farmers Union Insurance not so far away. Also a shout out to Baker Family Medicine, the official healthcare provider of the Bucks, providing personalized, high quality, and compassionate care, as well as Rehab Authority. Your body is made to move. Welcome to possible.
One thing that the Bucks can't do right here is just give up a quick score. They've got to keep everything in front of them. They've got to rally to the football. But you know, the Bismarck fans are getting their taste of seeing what the best in indoor football looks like.
Yep. Miller, first play, Miller cutting it back and brought down at the 14-yard line, a gain of 9 on first down for a guy who, to this point, represented what a lot of Bismarck fans thought was one of the top organizations, and is, in the Sioux City Bandits, kind of the preeminent organization in the CIF.
Yeah.
Now staying in Siouxland, it's the Sioux Falls Storm. This time they fake it to him. It's the keeper for Brown. Brown has the first down and more, brought down by Michael Jenkins and company, but not before he crosses the line to gain. First down, Sioux Falls.
Yeah, and those are two great organizations. You know, Sioux City, you know, Bob Scott has a great organization there, and you know, the diehards have always wanted to see them back in the IFL. You know, it's a great matchup. You know, they always have really strong football teams, but you know, Sioux City has proven it. It's not about year after year, it's almost decade after decade.
Yeah. They have the ultimate success story in indoor football coming out of Sioux City. Of course, Bills running back Fred Jackson, kind of the headliner when you talk about indoor to the highest level of the outdoor game, the National Football League. It's funny, you talk about Sioux City maybe making the move back to the IFL. That was a part of the ongoing conversation this offseason with the Bucks and the Quad City Steamwheelers ultimately making the transition. Sioux City was in that conversation, and you can go back a year before, Sioux Falls was talking about going to the CIF. Ultimately never happened, but they came out and said, we're leaving, and then decided to stay in the IFL. Worked out for them as they got another trip to the United Bowl, their 8th straight, before falling to Iowa.
It seems every year there's always talk, and you know, those matchups, you know, and you mentioned Fred Jackson. I happen to be coaching in Omaha, you know, and we saw Fred Jackson, or I saw him up close and personal too many times. And, you know, when you kind of wonder, you know, a lot of these guys have had an opportunity, they've been in camp, but, you know, if you could see Fred Jackson in person and how hard he played and how competitive he was, you knew you were watching somebody different that had no business playing indoor football for, you know, a couple $100 a game.
The keep again for Brown. Brown weathering the first tackle, ultimately gets shoved ahead by Lawrence Martin and some extracurriculars. Welcome to the new rivalry. We'll be seeing this by the end of the year. Book that.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm surprised. You know, Chapman, as he's getting up, kind of twist a Bismarck player's helmet to the ground, and right there, you could see it right there. And then ends up, there we go. We could see it right there, and ends up, and then he throws a punch.
Officials taking the notepads out. That means a personal foul to be recorded. You get 2, you're gone.
You know, and from a coaching standpoint, it sure is tough. You know, you've got guys that are sacrificing a lot to be here. They have pride, you know, and to ask a guy to.
Unsportsmanlike conduct whistled against Trayvon Chapman. And against the Bucks, they get Mike Tatum. I beg your pardon, Joe Blunt.
You know, and it's difficult to ask guys to walk away from that, especially, you know, when you get punched or you get something like that, you know, to happen to you. But, you know, the best teams, the teams that end up, you know, hoisting the trophy at the end, you know, those are the teams that do the best job at that. You know, they don't commit these penalties, and I know that'll be a point of emphasis for Sioux Falls moving past this game, is to play a little bit more disciplined football and eliminate those unnecessary penalties.
The only negative that you could point to in this first half for the Sioux Falls Storm. Brown, in the face of the blitz, delivers to Damian Ford. Touchdown for the former Buck. His first catch of the day. A touchdown for Damian Ford.
and they always have done a good job with this. It's man coverage with the high motion receivers, and they're just kind of running a banjo concept where the inside receiver runs that post. And then runs the fade. Then you got a post underneath it. The Bucks defensive back could see it, but was just way too slow getting there to make a play on it.
We talk about Tatum going against his old team in Sioux Falls. There's Damian Ford. We will talk about his career, short-lived as it was here in the Peace Garden State. On the other side, it's the 1-minute warning. You're watching Buck football on Beck Sports.
Bucks football is presented by the following. Rehab Authority, the official physical therapy facility of the Bucks. Stadium Sports Bar of Bismarck, the official sponsor of the Bucks training table. Cluton Property Management, the official housing partner of the Bucks. Bucks football is presented by the following. Buffalo Wild Wings, Qdoba, Poncheros, Bruno's Pizza, Cafe Aroma, Herberts and Gerberts, Bismarck Amvets, Bismarck Elks, Caribou Coffee, KFC, Taco Del Bar, and Stadium Sports Bar.
One-minute warning is in the books. Bergner getting ready to send it away after the touchdown by Damian Ford. Ford played with our quarterback Josh Strawn, who ended year one of this Bucks campaign as Tatum is brought down hard at the 17. Another flag flies. Ford and Strawn played together at Stillman College, so they were a package deal. As the Bucks turned to their fourth quarterback in year one, it was Josh Strawn, who ultimately may have been the best of the group. When you talk about those success stories, Josh Strawn, after that year, got a futures contract in the Canadian Football League, went to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Damian Ford began his career with the Calgary Stampede.
And I tell you what, I've had more guys get into camp with NFL teams than the CFL. It's hard to get guys up there.
Incredibly difficult.
That's really saying something.
Incredibly difficult. Josh Strawn might be the best success story in the history of the Bucks. Now, there are a couple of caveats there.
Yeah.
You know, it depends how you value the AAF as compared to Canadian football, and perhaps most importantly, and not to end on a sour note, but if Brendan Daly, that story hadn't ended the way it did, Brendan Daly, I think, had a legitimate chance at the NFL.
No question.
Causey getting the swing to Deontay Thomas, who is immediately buried by TJ Neal.
Neal does a good job at getting sideline to sideline. You know, there's so much talent on the field. You know, he's a guy that I just haven't noticed a whole lot. I'm so busy looking at this D-line and defensive backs, but, you know, the Storm have always also had some great linebackers, and they had a real good one for the last couple years, and, you know, now it's Neal's turn to get in here and make some things happen.
Tatum with the catch, and he's got first down yardage. It's funny you mentioned Sioux Falls losing some of their big-time veteran names who'd been around forever. Mike Tatum is a fantastic example.
Yeah.
But they've done a great job of turning it over. TJ Neal, the all-Big Ten linebacker from Illinois, originally recruited to play for the Auburn Tigers.
Yeah, and he's a good one. He's a good one.
As is Mike Tatum, who continues to rack up the yardage for the Bucks. He's been open all day. Causey, short drop, deep shot! Falls incomplete. Trying to work it down to Will Gibbs, and a late flag. They just picked that flag up, so no penalty. Trying to get Will Gibbs' sprinter speed involved.
Yeah.
Not a bad look, especially with 10 seconds left.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a guy that's got to get on the field more.
Causey to Tatum. Mike Tatum again by himself. Mike's either got to get down or do something. Got to stop that clock. Here in the 1-minute warning Clock will stop to move the chains, and the Bucks will call timeout. 3 seconds left. Bucks have time for one shot at the end zone or a field goal. Have to imagine it's the latter. And now we'll take the opportunity to talk about it here on Beck Sports. Coach, you've got about 16 yards to get, one play to do it. What's the move?
Well, you know, the right move is to kick a field goal. I don't like the field goal against the Storm. And it's tough. Either way, it's a tough spot to be in. You know, you don't have a lot of room in terms of trying to get something deep. The worst case scenario here is the Storm get their hands on this football.
Yeah.
So there's been some hitch in this that's slowing this thing down. But you got to get points. So
just about a 30-yard try here. Ball lined up at the 23, and this might get a little bit shorter. Ultimately, a hard count on a field goal. Looked like it drew off a couple of Storm defenders.
As a coach, you always get really uptight the longer that this thing takes, because somebody's going to flinch, somebody's going to move.
Yep. The whistle ultimately comes against Charles Williams. And just like that, this thing gets a little bit easier. High snap, Deontay does a good job. Blake Levin from 25 yards out, unable to convert. Zeros on the board. The Storm continue to impress, the preeminent franchise in the IFL, delivering here in the Dakota Duel. They lead it 45-3 as you're watching Buck football on Beck Sports.
Hi, I'm Adam Thielen. On behalf of Choice Bank, we're excited to highlight the People First player matchup. The Thielen Foundation and Choice Bank are committed to helping people reach their full potential.
I invite you to stop at Dakota Community Bank and Trust and meet our professional insurance agents. They offer numerous lines of insurance, including farm, ranch, federal crop and hail, commercial, home and auto. As an independent agency, they offer product solutions from a wide variety of companies. Our insurance professionals would like to get to know you and visit about your insurance needs.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
What happened to us? We used to gather in proud arenas. Now we're watching March Madness while stuck in work holes.
Loser.
Jerk. Or shoved in man caves. We've been left alone with a DVR replay while trying not to wake the baby. Enough! Let's make our Fanchesters proud and follow the tribe to B-dubs so we can fill our beers, crush all the wings, and pound every single game. You want madness? That's March Madness. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
From concept to creation at House of Color, it's all about you and your remodel experience. Our cabinet design team creates engaging spaces to fit you and your lifestyle. The kitchen you've been waiting for is closer than you imagined. Call House of Color today.
Coors Light has a lighter, crisper taste. So you're ready for what's next. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Tatum in motion in the slot. Tatum wide open in the middle of the field, and that's where they go. Mike Tatum hit hard, but he secures the football. The Bucks' first down comes to Mike Tatum. What's up, Bucks fans? Here with the top target for your team here in these first couple of weeks, Mike Tatum. Mike, Bit of a reunion game for you this weekend. You were on the Sioux Falls Storm for a long time. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to go back, though. High school football for Mike Tatum. Columbus, Ohio, kind of a football hotbed here in the Midwest. What was that like for you?
Columbus football has always been great. My high school has been to the state championship the last, I want to say, 10 or 11 years. And, I mean, it's been a great journey, man, coming from where I come from to where I am now.
Then you go straight from that basically into the indoor game. You know, you have a couple steps here and there in the in-between, but you really had to showcase your skills. What was that almost audition like to be able to make it straight into the indoor football league?
For me, not knowing anything and then just going out in some Jordans and some shorts and then running a fast 40, then be asked to come to camp. I mean, it was a dream come true, and ever since then, the sky has been the limit.
You've been all over. I mean, you've been on teams that don't even exist anymore. What's been the key to kind of staying ready no matter what calls, even if a team disappears, you're at the next one the next day?
It's just staying ready. As long as I'm ready, I don't got to get ready. So, like you said, man, I've been a part of teams that was stable, and then stable went to Fulton, and then Fulton took me across the country, and then across the country brought me back for my family, and then left my family again to go chase rings.
Speaking of chasing rings, did quite a bit of ring winning in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. What was that like, the preeminent organization the Bucks fans are going to get a taste of here tomorrow?
I mean, Sioux Falls, Class A organization. I mean, everybody knows rings speak for themselves. Championships speak for themselves. I mean, I appreciate the opportunity that they gave me to come out and showcase my talents when nobody else would.
Overall, in Sioux Falls, you made your mark in the return game. What allowed you to do that, and ultimately, what's the key to a great kickoff return?
I haven't returned kicks since 2012. I was the Special Teams Player of the Year. That's how I got picked to Sioux Falls. But I am now the all-purpose yards leader in the IFL. And, I mean, it's just always being ready. It's being able to catch the ball, run the ball, return kicks. I mean, just do whatever is asked of me.
You were with Sioux Falls pretty late into camp, and then Bismarck able to win you over. What was it about this organization that said, all right, I want to be a part of that here in the 2019 season?
I kind of played with Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark was a member of the Sioux Falls Storm last year, and we talked a little bit over the offseason. And going into this season, I kind of waited on Sioux Falls to give me the call. They didn't give me the call that I wanted, and as the year progressed and it was time for camp to start, I went ahead and signed with the Bismarck Bucks because they wanted to give me a great opportunity. It was something I couldn't pass up.
Obviously a difficult start for you guys so far this season. What's been the key in that locker room, maintaining positivity, especially for you as one of the real veteran players on this roster?
I mean, with a lot of rookies and a lot of new players, I mean, it's building camaraderie. It's building teamwork. You know, it's kind of trying to find that niche where how can we win? What can we do to win? And we've always been a second-half team, and we're hoping that the home crowd will help us come out and produce from beginning to end.
Difficulty for you, 2 weeks, two different quarterbacks here for the Bucks. How have you had to adjust here from John to Homer and maybe back and forth here? We'll see.
You're right. It is two different quarterbacks. And, I mean, at the end of the day, the plays don't change. I mean, the only thing changes is the signal caller and the person that's going to be throwing the football. But as long as they know where your targets is going to be, you're able to pass, run, and do whatever is expected of you. We're pros.
Obviously setting up this field here, but tomorrow you'll be on it. What's it going to be like when you come out, you see that Storm logo on the other side, an organization you won 4 titles with?
I would tell you, like I told my teammates earlier this week, they were like, you really bleed red, white, and blue. And like I told them, I do. I do bleed red, white, and blue, but when I get inside of here and then the whistles blow, they are no longer my teammates. I don't know them. I don't respect them. And it's just going to be one of those type of things. I'm going to ride with my team and win with my team.
It's going to be a good old-fashioned grudge match as the Bucks look for their first win of the year against the Sioux Falls Storm. He's wide receiver Mike Tatum. I'm Corey Brooks. We'll see you for kickoff.
Bucks football is presented by the following: Baker Family Medicine, the official healthcare provider of the Bucks. Buffalo Wild Wings, the official and only wing restaurant bar sponsor of the Bucks. Verge Fitness, the official workout facility of the Bucks.
Prairie Knights just raised the stakes on playtime with a $40,500 play-to-win giveaway. Get here this Sunday for your chance to win a matching cash prize and free play prize up to $500. And all you have to do is play your favorite game to qualify. If you're going to play, you might as well play to win. Get to Prairie Knights for the play-to-win giveaway. And don't miss Charlie Pride live on Saturday, April 27th. Feel lucky tonight.
People depend on a healthy food supply always being there. We take great pride in what we've built here, and we want to pass that on.
Running a family farm isn't easy. We can't control the weather, ever-changing farm policies, and up and down farm prices, but we manage to keep going to provide the safest food supply we can.
To be a farmer, you have to be committed, and it isn't so much a choice as it is a calling.
Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Congratulations!
50 back. A ton of great stuff. The kick and throw challenge here at the half and plenty more. The Buffalo Wild Wings dine and dash. Jerome's distributing, bringing us the punt, pass, kick. And of course, the big event yet to come, the Beck Buck Chuck. It's Chuck-a-Buck, but with a football twist. Here at the home of these Bucks. And coach, as we look back at that first half, a little bit less fun for the hometown faithful than the excitement here at halftime. But nevertheless, you knew as the Bucks made this trip into the IFL, the top level of indoor football, there was going to be an adjustment period, and that was kind of an adjustment first half.
Yeah, without question. You know, it's pretty apparent. You know, obviously, coach starting with the new roster, and it's a roster that's going to continue to be built. You know, this is a tough task playing Sioux Falls. You know, the opening home game of the season. I think there were a number of years that I had to do that. Excuse me. And it's tough. It's really tough. You know, it's your first opportunity to showcase your team to the home fans, and again, Sioux Falls is about as tough of a draw as you can get in that opening game.
Yeah. The IFL schedule makers doing the Bucks no favors here really through the first 3 weeks. You talk about that first week against a retooled Nebraska Danger team. It's done a great job. They've got some of the real, you know, top players these past couple of years with that Nebraska team, but they're not necessarily players anymore. They're now a bunch of coaches for the Danger. You talk about Pig Brown, an IFL Hall of Famer. You talk about Jamil Sewell, the Hall of Fame quarterback. You talk about Xavier Jackson, the all-time sack leader. Those are all coaches for the Danger now, and they've got some good players too.
Yeah, absolutely. Those were three of the best to do it in the indoor game. I love Coach Brown.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite players, you know, when he was playing in the game, one of my all-time favorite players in the league. And, you know, they're taking that knowledge and experience and wisdom, you know, and leading that franchise. And Nebraska is a team that I expect to get a lot better as the season progresses.
Then you go to Arizona. Not only is that the longest road trip of the year for you in just your second week of play, but you get a Tucson Sugar Skulls team in their home opener, all the energy in the building, franchise opener at home, I should say. And you got Coach Coleman there, who's done a great job. The 10-year NFL vet, go figure, has assembled a pretty good team.
Coach Coleman, you know, obviously was the defensive coordinator with the Iowa Barnstormers when they won a championship. And, you know, so he knows he knows how this game is coached, how it's played, and he was able to get some marquee players from the Barnstormers and some other teams throughout the league. So even though that's an expansion franchise, that's not really an expansion franchise in terms of the product on the field. They are a very good football team, and you know, we're going to find out how good, you know, when they, you know, playing Arizona.
Yep, that game going on right now between Tucson and the guys out of Phoenix, the Arizona Rattlers. Nothing like the expansion team you see out in San Diego. It is time for the Buck Chuck here at the event center, so we'll let you listen in, watch as the footballs aiming for the back. It's a tough one. Chuck-a-Puck's usually a stationary target, but here at the top level of indoor football, we up the difficulty. As the fans try and put it in the back of that truck.
That is outstanding. This is one of the great things about indoor football is you're coming to an event. You know, it's fun, it's interactive, and that's always been one of my favorite things about indoor football. Even the people that maybe don't necessarily like football, they're going to have a good time.
That really is what it's all about, particularly for these guys here in the Peace Garden State, where North Dakota is such a family-first community that this is a team that really wanted to embody that spirit, hence the earlier start time today.
Yep.
And we'll see that throughout on Saturdays, 6 as opposed to your traditional 7 or 7:30. And even a Sunday game here or there, you move to 2 o'clock just to be able to get the kids out and ultimately embrace some of that real familial mentality here in North Dakota.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a fan of that earlier start time too. Instead of, you know, you're leaving the venue at 10 o'clock at night or something like that. You know, the kids have a great time, and you're able to get home and unwind, you know, with still just a little bit of your night left. So that's a really nice twist there.
As the lap completed, the buck chuck is done. Very happy to bring this event to you. You see that Beck logo on there right here at Beck Sports. The premier event, in the opinion of some, the buck chuck here at the Bismarck Event Center. They will crown a winner, and we will step aside for the final time here in the Farmers Union Insurance halftime report. On the other side, we get you ready for half number 2 as the Bucks try and mount a comeback. Storm 45, Bucks 3 here at the break as you're watching Buck football on Beck Sports.
From concept to creation at House of Color, it's all about you and your remodel experience. Our cabinet design team creates engaging spaces to fit you and your lifestyle. The kitchen you've been waiting for is closer than you imagined. Call House of Color today.
People depend on a healthy food supply always being there. We take great pride in what we've built here, and we want to pass that on.
Running a family farm isn't easy. We can't control the weather, ever-changing farm policies, and up and down farm prices, but we manage to keep going to provide the safest food supply we can.
To be a farmer, you have to be committed, and it isn't so much a choice as it is a calling.
Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Coors Light has a lighter, crisper taste. So you're ready for what's next. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Bucks football is presented by the following: Buffalo Wild Wings, Qdoba, Poncheros, Bruno's Pizza, Cafe Aroma, Herberts and Gerberts, Bismarck Amvets, Bismarck Elks, Caribou Coffee, KFC, Taco Del Bar, and Stadium Sports Bar.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, you can trust us to make home loans easy. You can fill out an application online, on the phone, or in person. People who have used online-only companies have found it very difficult and frustrating if they have a question. But with us, you can just stop in. We are real people supporting you and the communities we serve, keeping North Dakota money working for the benefit of our communities.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
Bucks football is presented by the following: Rehab Authority, the official physical therapy facility of the Bucks. Stadium Sports Bar of Bismarck, the official sponsor of the Bucks training table. Cluton Property Management, the official housing partner of the Bucks.
Prairie Knights just raised the stakes on playtime with a $40,500 play-to-win giveaway. Get here this Sunday for your chance to win a matching cash prize and free play prize up to $500. And all you have to do is play your favorite game to qualify. If you're going to play, you might as well play to win. Get to Prairie Knights for the play-to-win giveaway. And don't miss Charlie Pride live on Saturday, April 27th. Feel lucky tonight.
Wondering when your favorite high school and college teams will be playing live on the Beck Broadcasting Network? Let us show you how to find out. First, go to becktel.com/BBN. This brings you to the online schedule. Click the Live This Week tab to view a rotating 7-day schedule, or click the Live Schedule tab to view all scheduled Beck Broadcasting events. Here, you can sort by event type, such as basketball, hockey, or wrestling. If you're wondering if a previous game will be broadcast again, click the Replay tab. This will list any scheduled replays. To view statewide channel listings, hover over the channel logo. This will show you what channel this particular game will appear on with your current TV provider. Viewing the Beck broadcasting schedule on your smartphone or tablet is simple too. Go to bechtel.com/bbn and add to your home screen. Now, you can quickly access the schedule by a click of a button. If you have any questions, we would be happy to help. Give us a call at 888-475-2361.
What happened to us? We used to gather in proud arenas. Now we're watching March Madness while stuck in work holes.
Loser.
Jerk. Or shoved in man caves. We've been left alone with a DVR replay while trying not to wake the baby. Enough! Let's make our Fanchesters proud and follow the tribe to B-dubs so we can fill our beers, crush all the wings, and pound every single game. You want madness? That's March Madness. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Every day we rise, bend, twist, walk, run, and do the things we love. They are simple things until they are not. So if pain is holding you back from simple tasks, work, playing sports, or spending time with loved ones, West River Chiropractic can help you get the relief you need so you can enjoy the things you love. Take the step to a happier, healthier life by calling West River Chiropractic at 701-663-3380 or go online to westriverchiro.com. West River Chiropractic is proud to be the official team chiropractor of the Bismarck Bucks. West River Chiropractic. Family, wellness, athletics.
Welcome you back in here to the Bismarck Event Center as the Sioux Falls Storm put on a clinical first half display. Now the Bucks try and mount the comeback, and you know, it's funny. You look up at the scoreboard, you say 45-3, no chance, no way. We've seen crazy. I mean, you think back to that game against Salina a year ago. People started to leave, to be honest. And all of a sudden, the Bucks wind up on top. They stop Salina at the 1-yard line, run the ball down the other way, and the Bucks knock off the most talented team in the CIF that year, the Salina Liberty.
Yeah, that was, you know, it got to the point where, you know, if people started to leave halfway through the fourth quarter, you know, you wanted to wave your arms and tell them to go sit down, because that's when things really, really, like, the drama unfolds. But, you know, and the Bucks have been a second half team. You know, teams have kind of jumped out on them, got a big lead, and the Bucks just find a way to manufacture 30, 40 points. You know, in the second half. So they've obviously got their work cut out for them. The Storm aren't a team that's going to play super undisciplined in terms of being assignment sharp. So that's going to be a tough thing to replicate from the first two games, but we'll see. They got to do something.
Certainly going to try and get going. By the way, the score of that other game, Tucson and Arizona, 7-all. Tucson took the very first lead at 7-0. The Rattlers answer right back. That's a team out in Phoenix, Arizona that may very well at the end of the year be hoisting that United Bowl championship. So these Sioux Falls Storm are certainly in that conversation.
It seems like the IFL has become kind of the big three. You know, you've got Iowa, Coach Wooten, who coached for me and who's been around the game a long time. You know, obviously their team won the championship last year, but you've got Iowa, you've got Arizona, and you've got Sioux Falls. You know, and then you've got some teams kind of on the fringe that are that can, you know, Tucson is kind of making a name for themselves, and you know, Nebraska is always going to be there.
The IFL is certainly tiered up, and as you noted, those top three may be in a tier of their own. You could argue right now that it's actually a tier of two, as here comes Mike Tatum! Mike Tatum into the end zone!
That's the spark you needed from the guy that you needed it from, Mike Tatum. Good for him.
The Mike Tatum revenge tour continues against his former team in the Sioux Falls Storm. And the IFL's all-time leader in all-purpose yardage adds some more. A touchdown for Mike Tatum.
Kick return team, their wall did a really nice job. You know, and Mike Tatum, he's an easy guy to root for. One of my favorites in indoor football. You know, he's a classy guy, a family man. You know, he works hard to do events back home in Columbus. And that's just, he's the type of man that you want in your program, you want in your community. He's just all class.
And if you missed it, we caught up with Mike just yesterday talking about growing up in Columbus, Ohio. His indoor experience both before Sioux Falls and after. Guy who's been around a long time, played for a lot of teams that do not exist anymore. As Blake Levin's extra point is up and good. Bucks getting a boost from their big off-season addition, the veteran Mike Tatum.
For those who thirst for more, Coors Light is colder, cleaner, and crisper. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
From concept to creation at House of Color, it's all about you and your remodel experience. Our cabinet design team creates engaging spaces to fit you and your lifestyle. The kitchen you've been waiting for is closer than you imagined. Call House of Color today.
Prairie Knights just raised the stakes on playtime with a $40,500 play-to-win giveaway. Get here this Sunday for your chance to win a matching cash prize and free play prize up to $500. And all you have to do is play your favorite game to qualify. If you're going to play, you might as well play to win. Get to Prairie Knights for the play-to-win giveaway. And don't miss Charlie Pride live on Saturday, April 27th. Feel lucky tonight.
Now the Bucks will send it away. Special teams and Mike Tatum making the difference. Blake steering one right down that wall. A great kick from Levin, and the coverage applied by Michael Jenkins. Third phase, getting it done here for the Bucks.
Absolutely, and they needed that spark. You know, they put a couple good plays together here. And hopefully they can, for the Bucks fans want to see a stop here, or at least hold them to a field goal attempt. And one of the keys in this building is trying to hold them on that side of the field. If you prepared against Sioux Falls, you know when they're on their side of the field, inside the 10, more so inside the 5, they like to take shots from this area, but I don't think they're quite looking to do that here.
First play, they're going to go to ground. Darian Miller losing the football. And ultimately it's picked up by Ford. Damian Ford managing to get it for Sioux Falls, and nearly the first turnover of the day for the Storm.
Kind of funny how those good teams get those type of bounces, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Always finding a way. Just kind of the motto for this Sioux Falls team. Brown with 3 to his right. Running out of time, deep shot. Shepard has a step. Touchdown.
Touchdown, Storm.
Bucks get a spark on the long kickoff return, but the 37-yard strike from Brown to Shepard.
Yeah.
What a throw.
Just talked 2 plays ago about, you know, how the Storm like to take shots from that side of the field, and, you know, it's hard not to when you get that one-on-one matchup there on the single with that single receiver.
Bergner hasn't missed an extra point all year. Trend continues. 52-10, Storm answer right back. You're watching Buck Football on Beck Sports.
Bucks Football is presented by the following. Rehab Authority, the official physical therapy facility of the Bucks. Stadium Sports Bar of Bismarck, the official sponsor of the Bucks training table. Cluton Property Management, the official housing partner of the Bucks. Bucks Football is presented by the following. Buffalo Wild Wings, Qdoba, Poncheros, Bruno's Pizza, Cafe Aroma, Herberts and Gerberts, Bismarck Amvets, Bismarck Elks, Caribou Coffee, KFC, Taco Del Bar, and Stadium Sports Bar.
Enjoying a little snack here at the Bismarck Event Center. Food's always good. Today's deal is a deep-fried Twinkie, which is magical. Back on special teams, and this time they're going to steer it out of bounds in the general direction of Will Gibbs, but he won't get a chance. Ball spotted at the 8-yard line. An excellent kickoff there for Miles Bergner with a flag on the backside.
I don't know if it's what I was looking at. There was a little after the play, but the guys kind of shut it down. That was an awfully, awfully late flag. If he was looking at what I was looking at.
I think they're just going to pick this one up. No, maybe not. Pad's out. Flag was picked up, but it'll be after the administration of this, which you have to assume now is a personal foul. Unsportsmanlike conduct against the Bucks. They get Jamaron Johnson, and the ball will be spotted at the 4. And it's funny as Tatum comes back out there on the heels of special teams, just to reference that conversation we had with him one last time. I asked him about his prowess in the kickoff return game. He goes, I haven't returned one since 2012. And he's got one here for a touchdown. Right over the middle, Deontay Thomas gets 2. The running back out of the backfield, a short gainer for the Bucks, with John Gibbs back in the game at quarterback.
When you said 2012, I was kind of wondering, I hope it wasn't against us. We had some great games against Sioux Falls in that 2012 year. We were actually up on them in the fourth quarter in the conference championship game, but they came back and pulled it off.
Speaking of Mike Tatum, there he is. The catch out to the 15-yard line and a Buck first down. Mike does such a great job. His teammates call him Coach T. I mean, he's been in this league so long. He can really be a teacher for a young Bucks team that doesn't have a lot of indoor experience. And you talk about teaching, and it's one thing I didn't get a chance to ask Mike about, but in his free time, he's often found working in schools, elementary, middle, high school, really tries to engage the youth, a community man, as much as a football player. Gibbs, deep shot. Too far in front of Fred Abraham.
Yeah, and Mike is absolutely a first-class guy, and you know when a guy's been around with has been with Sioux Falls for a long time, it's always tough when that change happens. And over the years, I've seen a lot of guys that were staples in Sioux Falls. When it comes time to maybe for the organization to kind of move on in their eyes, it's always really, really tough. And you get a guy like Mike who entrenches himself in the community. It makes it tough to make that move, but the organization's got to do what they got to do. And
lunging ahead there, just pick up a few yards. Deontay Thomas. They get third down and medium here.
Third down. Gibbs is kind of coming back to doing Gibbs things here.
Yeah. It's funny, you talk about this Sioux Falls team. Tyler Knight, Mike Tatum, Judd Harold, all moving on from Sioux Falls. Headed into this offseason, 3 real presences on this team and in this organization.
Yeah, and I could have sworn I just saw Ty Knight walk past us. You see a guy that looks like he can do a bodybuilding contest tomorrow. That's probably T. Knight, and he is one of the best I've ever seen in indoor football. Outstanding football player.
So there are 3 different flags on the field right now. 1 in the defensive backfield and 2 in the offensive side. They look over to Rod Miller, illegal defense, so every official on the field saw the same thing. The Bucks will decline it, and the run by John Gibbs will stand. First down, Bismarck. And John gets it all the way to the 18. Bucks searching for their first offensive touchdown of the day here with 10 minutes to go in the third. Two to the left, two to the right. They go to Tatum on the ground. Mike Tatum has as many rushing touchdowns this year as he does passing. A versatile player as we continue to heap praise on Mike Tatum.
Yeah, he could do everything. I wouldn't be surprised if he could play some quarterback as well. But, you know, one guy I wanted to give a shout out to there, you know, on the Bucks is Hall, number 11. You know, has been playing defensive line for the Bucks. That's what he came in to do. And right now he's stepping up for his team. You know, the Bucks have had a heck of a time keeping offensive linemen healthy. So kudos to Hall for stepping up and battling at a position that's, you know, it's not his natural position. And this is a heck of a game, you know, for him. You know, he's doing a great job on that play. But that's a tall task, you know, to be able to do this against the Storm.
You see Stephon Hall on the left side of that offensive line. That is certainly a partial part of the explanation of how this script has unfolded. A couple of offensive lineman injuries for the Bucks, forcing Stephon Hall to flip sides. Bucks were unsure where they wanted to go with that one. Ultimately, they asked Hall to play on this side. Gibbs to Tatum. And Mike Tatum's forward progress going to be critical there, and he's got the first down for the Bucks.
Yeah, that was a crucial grab. And then Scott with a really, really nice open field tackle. Very physical, very aggressive. Former team captain at Akron. Got good size. Again, there's no shortage of outstanding defensive backs for Sioux Falls.
Been kind of one of the unfortunate trends for the Bucks. We've seen a defensive lineman have to flip over and play the offensive side every year now.
Every year.
John wasn't ready for the snap. Winds up with Thomas. I think Thomas thought about throwing it for a second. Instead, he's sent to the boards by Trey Wofford alongside Charles Williams.
I can't see where the sticks were at, but it probably would have been better served to throw it away there.
Yeah. There are no sticks with goal to go. So make it second down and goal from the 15.
Good point. Thank you.
No worries.
But yeah, that happened to me a couple times throughout, you know, my coaching career. When you lose an offensive lineman, it's always a gamble.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, you know, or more often than not, you know, you dress 3 offensive linemen, and you've got a 4th defensive lineman that can probably roll over. And you always hope and pray that you don't lose an offensive lineman, but they're so tough to get.
Speaking of extra offensive linemen, here comes that 4th offensive lineman. For the first time today, Chance Dolehite will check into the game for the Bucks as they are going to roll the heavy package out there. 3rd down and goal. Makini Manu, the defensive lineman, will come in and likely play fullback. And Preston Hamlet, who scored on one in a similar set that was called back, currently at the fullback spot. Hall swings it. They give it to Hamlet. Hamlet bottled up in the backfield by Charles Williams. The danger of that heavy set and why the Bucks have kind of cautiously used it in years past, it almost tips your hand.
Yeah.
And that time Sioux Falls was absolutely ready for it.
Yeah. You know, and this year it's not Sean Oakman and Marquise Smith out there, you know, at those positions. So that's a tough one.
That's who it was last year. They've certainly got the size. Dolehite out there, 6'9", 315 out of Southern Oregon. Bucks are going to call a timeout to get reset here. It's 4th down and goal as you're watching Buck football on Beck Sports.
I invite you to stop at Dakota Community Bank and Trust and meet our professional insurance agents. They offer numerous lines of insurance, including farm, ranch, federal crop and hail, commercial, home and auto. As an independent agency, they offer product solutions from a wide variety of companies. Our insurance professionals would like to get to know you and visit about your insurance needs.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
What happened to him?
Fourth down and goal. Bucks on the last few fourth down tries have gone empty backfield. This time they'll leave Deontay Thomas in. Bucks need 5 yards to cash in for their first offensive touchdown. Lone man in motion is Mike Tatum. Gibbs, quick 3-step drop under pressure. Gibbs trying to look end zone. And it might be right on the doorstep and down at the 1. A turnover on downs by about an inch. The Sioux Falls defense will stand tall.
Wow, got a great view of it. Camera guys on top of this. Oh,
Coach Miller's got his red flag. You might as well.
Yeah.
You might as well.
Yeah.
He was waiting for the replay up on the video board. It was never going to come, so he was like, all right, we're not going to let them snap the ball. It is a challenge, our first official coach's challenge of the evening, as Rod Miller asserts his team scored a touchdown.
You know, in our sight line, you know, we can't see that. Can't see that live, but it's going to be close.
They've got the new flow motion video that every IFL team will use, so that'll be the official replay. So it is a much better opportunity for officials as well as teams here in the Indoor Football League to try and get the call right. They've got much more camera angles. Used to be, certainly it was the case last year, where we'd have the definitive look and ultimately no one else did. That doesn't really do anybody any good. But now with the new flow motion enforced by the IFL, the officials will get just as good a look. And they're going to look over at it on that far side. We'll give you what we've got right here with our coach's challenge. You see Gibbs again showing that improv. And it certainly looks like from that angle that Fred Abraham was just short. It's a great look on the level.
Yeah.
Obviously still tough to tell, but parallel with the football there. And we'll see what the official call is. Great job by our group back in the Beck Studios at the University of Mary. Chris DeGaulle bringing you that replay. Jordan Lowry on the graphics here all night long. Our group here at the Bismarck Event Center, Patrick Conte alongside Jesse Schwab and Scott Lurch, the camera crew. I am Corey Brooks alongside IFL Hall of Famer Robert Fuller. It's a matter of inches, and there you see the Bucks coaching staff. Mike Tatum off to the left. Open for a challenge win. And it's at this point when the review takes this long, broadcasters like to turn to the cliche. I will do so now. Remember, the call on the field was no touchdown. You have to have irrefutable evidence in order to reverse that call.
Nice job.
It's well rehearsed.
Yes.
You hear that on every NFL game ever, since they've allowed challenges.
So I'll call my shot now. If this stands, I would expect Sioux Falls to go deep again on the first play here. Although these end zones makes it really tricky. They might have a play. They might try to get just by a few more yards to get out of the.
That's what they've done. They've waited. You think back to all the shot drives. They've handed it to Darian Miller once, let him get 4 or 5, and then come over the top.
Yeah.
Now, to your point, last time they did that, Darian Miller fumbled.
Right.
So maybe you just bypass the middleman here.
Yeah. And Lorenzo Brown he does a phenomenal job at getting yards on quarterback sneaks.
Yeah.
You know, so that's also an option here.
Lorenzo, the second-team IFL player last year, he was going to retire. He wanted last year to be his last run. But they got to the United Bowl, lost to Iowa, and he said, I'm not leaving it with that taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
So perhaps one last tour here for Lorenzo Brown, now over 30, but has that tremendous rapport with Coach Riggs, and that's certainly why he's the starter.
Absolutely. It's a great relationship there, and you know, when you kind of analyze why Sioux Falls is so good, you look at the amount of time that people are within that organization. you know, it's rare to have a lot of turnover.
Replay system to load the video. Therefore, by rule, the play on the field stands. Bismarck will not be charged a timeout. First down, Sioux Falls.
And Sioux Falls will hold on to the ball.
Yeah, tough break for the Bucks, but you know, but now they've got an opportunity. They've got Sioux Falls backed up inside the 1. Best case would be able to force Sioux Falls to try to kick a field goal from the 5, but Sioux Falls probably won't settle for that.
Brown standing right up against the wall alongside Darian Miller. Final 5 minutes here of a third quarter. They'll go to Miller, and a good job to keep it. Even faked me out on the option. I thought they had Miller on the safety, and it's Lorenzo Brown managing to bring it out to the 8-yard line.
You know, and it's a simple concept. You know, one guy's got to have quarterback, one guy's got to have backer. You know, that time the defensive end was playing running back, and you've got to have your backer playing quarterback, and he was just not there.
Nice catch by Damian Ford, and Damian Ford slammed to the ground by Donnie Duncan. But first down yardage for Sioux Falls.
It's a nice tackle by Duncan. It's extremely rare to see one player bring Ford down. Ford is such a good football player.
Yeah. Again, Bucks fans got a taste of that right at the end of year number 1. An up and down campaign that culminated with a loss in Sioux City, Iowa. And perhaps unfair to the Bucks, they had to play Sioux City, who was the best team in the league that year, 5 times. Flags everywhere as it sits now, a fumble recovered by Jamaron Johnson. Bucks may have had some movement up front. A clear recovery by JJ. But it's the penalty on the Bucks or the Storm. And was it a false start on Sioux Falls? The pre-snap penalty that can't be undone. Illegal defense against the Bucks. Weren't set, essentially the same thing as offsides. Right there you see it. So first down and 5 here. Remember, Bucks will be at home in a couple of weeks. They have to take on the Nebraska Danger. First rematch for the Bucks here in the IFL. As that is over the wall, but held onto by Damian Ford.
Outstanding catch, knowing that he's going for a ride.
Sent over the Prairie Knights runner board, and it does not matter. Damian Ford secures the catch and pushes Sioux Falls into Buck territory.
And to throw out that old football or old indoor football saying, you can keep the footballs, but you got to throw the players back.
Yeah. Any catch over those boards still counts. A provision in the rules kind of designed to encourage plays like that. Maximum intensity and the highlight play of indoor ball. Screen pass, Ford trying to get away and ultimately does elude Antoine Smith, but Twan holds on long enough to set up the tackle of Joe Blunt.
And you got to have guys hustling. Got to guys have hustle in pursuit. There's not enough Bucks in the screen there. I'm sure Coach Miller was holding his breath on that one.
Sioux Falls in no hurry here with the 42-point lead. Miller plows ahead. Jenkins makes the tackle. Third down and a couple here for Sioux Falls.
Storm letting the big guys eat right there. You can see they were getting just this massive push.
The old 4-minute drill, even though that clock continues to wind until it doesn't. And the time that it doesn't here is a timeout. Just a brief one by the officials, though, so we'll get right back at it. Quick pitch to Shepard. Timing was off on that one from the get-go. Shepard is slammed into the boards. Jaron Johnson and Joe Blunt Jr. in to make the play.
Big time play there. Like you said, timing was off, and with the dimensions of the Bucks field here being a little bit tighter, those fly motion plays, especially from the short side, become a little bit tricky.
Joe Blunt, the tackle leader for the Bucks, on his first week on the roster back in Tucson, Arizona, at just under 15. Brown drops with time online to Trayvon Chapman, and they've got a first down. That's the quarterback to the backup quarterback, Brown to Chapman. And another testament to just how good Sioux Falls is. Trayvon Chapman was an all-MAC quarterback. He's the backup here for Sioux Falls.
And that's best case scenario, that you've got a guy that is an accomplished quarterback that you can also get on the field at receiver.
An elite athlete, offensive weapon, as the football parlance goes. We're off to the fourth quarter. Storm in control. You're watching Buck Football on Beck Sports.
What happened to us? We used to gather in proud arenas. Now we're watching March Madness while stuck in work holes.
Loser.
Jerk. Or shoved in man caves. We've been left alone with a DVR replay while trying not to wake the baby. Enough! Let's make our Fanchesters proud and follow the tribe to B-Dubs so we can fill our beers, crush all the wings, and pound every single game. You want madness? That's March Madness. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Bucks football is presented by the following. Baker Family Medicine, the official healthcare provider of the Bucks. Buffalo Wild Wings, the official and only wing restaurant bar sponsor of the Bucks. Verge Fitness, the official workout facility of the Bucks.
Storm in control. The open was good. You saw the flash right in those first couple of minutes for the Bucks. John looked decisive, passing the ball, moving it in short bursts against Sioux Falls. Defense limited him to a field goal. Then you have the pick six, and the special teams gets going for Sioux Falls, and all of a sudden the momentum is really against you, and that's led to the game script we're currently in.
Yeah.
They fake the pitch. Brown's looking end zone, too tall, and forward into the wall.
Oh, Brown's going to want that one back. That was right there. He's a little high on that one.
The rare miss today for Lorenzo Brown.
I think one thing you might see coming up is just some quarterback runs. Either coming out of their end zone or going in. Sioux Falls will rely on Brown to carry the load for them. This is just enough room, though. They might try to hit one of those big receivers crossing, but we'll see.
He's looking to throw, fade route, miscommunication and interception for Antoine Smith. Antoine making a couple of moves, brought down by Damian Ford. The first turnover for Sioux Falls is an INT by the lone returning Bismarck Buck, Antoine Smith.
Big time play by Antoine there. They wanted to go to their online receiver. He was jammed up. Threw him off his route. Great job by Smith.
Bucks get the ball back, and in the two-quarterback look, we continue to see John Gibbs. Starter in this game and week 1. Gibbs climbing the ladder, finding Tatum. Mike Tatum getting it done again. 15 yards for Mike Tatum.
Mike Tatum's not a big guy, but he's about one of the biggest security blankets that Gibbs is going to have.
5'10", 170 pounds on the roster, but plays so much bigger than that. Remarkable play today for Mike Tatum. The kickoff return touchdown, obviously the highlight, but Tatum has really been the target time and again here for the Bucks. John's in trouble. Gibbs looking downfield, and it's caught by Brandon Clark.
It's a nice job by Clark working those scramble rules. He was deep and then started working his way back for his quarterback, making a really nice grab there. Super tight coverage.
Second catch of the day for Brandon Clark, and by far the biggest. Mike T's got over 50 yards meanwhile. Trips to the left, and they pitch it out. Here comes Preston Hamlet, the guy out of Mayville State who was absolutely whacked by Richard Dickerson III.
That's a heck of a play by Dickerson coming in there. He knows there's going to be a collision. He puts his shoulder right into it.
I think he broke the helmet. Hamlet brought in to be the big back, the bruiser. Was on the team, released and re-signed. And he appears to be the second back behind Deontay Thomas. With Mack injured for the year, DeAndre Scott, the INT, and he goes down. So after the Bucks get their turnover, it's knocked up at the line and right back to Sioux Falls.
Again, heads up play there by Goins in the middle. Knew that he wasn't going to get to the quarterback. It was just great heads up play. Getting that big meat hook up there and deflecting that ball.
Malcolm Goins, 6'3", one of the bigger players on this Sioux Falls team. Former member of the Wichita Falls Nighthawks. The one who comes away with the deflection and the INT to DeAndre Scott.
You know, we were talking about what, you know, one of the many things that makes Sioux Falls so good. And you look at their assistant coaches.
Yeah.
You know, I was just thinking about the play that Goins made and how I've seen his position coach, Corey Johnson, make that same play what feels like a million different times.
Trayvon Chapman, backup quarterback, in at running back right now. He's out to the 12-yard line. Donnie Duncan gets the tackle for the Bucks.
So back to Coach Johnson. He actually went into the Hall of Fame with me, played for 10 seasons, 8 championships. You know, he's such a force on the Storm defensive line, and you know those Storm defensive linemen have a great one coaching those guys up.
Bobbled snap. Brown's just going to charge forward to make it 3rd down and short. Bucks will get the get-right bye week next week before welcoming in the Nebraska Danger for a rematch. And Coach, you got a chance to watch some of that game against Nebraska. What were your takeaways with A, the strengths of that Danger team, and B, what the Bucks can do better in order to reverse the result this time at home?
Yeah, you know, I'm a fan of that Nebraska team. They are extremely talented. You know, we obviously know that they have coaches that know what the heck they're talking about. But they've got to play so much more discipline if they want to accomplish, if they want to even come close to their potential. The Bucks have got to be able to take advantage of that, and they did in the second half of that game.
Yeah.
In terms of you know, taking advantage of busted coverages, of defensive linemen not maintaining lane integrity and keeping quarterbacks in the pocket. So, you know, the Bucks have got to get better. We know that. You know, they're a couple players away. You know,
holding, offense number 77.
this roster
Half the
will
distance
be
to the goal.
evolving all season
Replay,
long, and,
third down.
you know, hopefully he'll get the guys that he needs as soon as possible. But you know, it's a work in progress. So bottom line, at the Bucks, they need to come in disciplined, and they have to execute, and you know, just gotta get better. So I'm excited for the opportunity for them. You know, Nebraska's a heck of a team, but you know, anything can happen.
As you noted, these rosters change throughout. We've mentioned it a couple times. Damian Ford was brought in with a couple of weeks left on the Bismarck Bucks inaugural campaign. Look at him now, playing for Sioux Falls and having a tremendous, tremendous year. A timeout called by Sioux Falls. We'll take it with them. You're watching Bucks football on Beck Sports.
At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, you can trust us to make home loans easy. You can fill out an application online, on the phone, or in person. People who have used online-only companies have found it very difficult and frustrating if they have a question. But with us, you can just stop in. We are real people supporting you and the communities we serve, keeping North Dakota money working for the benefit of our communities.
Serving the community, looking out for you. At Dakota Community Bank and Trust, that's what we do.
People depend on a healthy food supply always being there. We take great pride in what we've built here, and we want to pass that on.
Running a family farm isn't easy. We can't control the weather, ever-changing farm policies, and up and down farm prices, but we manage to keep going to provide the safest food supply we can.
To be a farmer, you have to be committed, and it isn't so much a choice as it is a calling.
Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
3rd down and 8. Brown, the deep drop. Lorenzo Brown taking a shot, and it will fall incomplete. That thing was absolutely on a rope, but a drop for Brandon Shepard.
This brings up a 4th down.
If it helps, there is not a competitive game in the IFL right now. The Arizona Rattlers lead by 21 at halftime. That game was 7-7, and since then, a 28-7 run for Arizona. Coach Guy's team might be the best in the league this year.
I tell you what, he's amazing. You know, it's every bit of as good as, you know, Coach Riggs is and the Storm are. You know, Arizona's right there. Coach Guy's been doing this a long time. He's ultra competitive as well, and he gets just extremely talented football players in there. And they've got a running back this year that's just running all over the league.
Yep. This is a 56-yard try. And the scoreboard, killer of all here in Bismarck, wins again.
Yeah, things get pretty sketchy here as far as field goal attempts go.
You can play it outside hash. Bergner very nearly had it. In fact, he didn't really catch the scoreboard. He caught the rafter up there.
Yeah.
With so much height on that kick to try and nail it from just shy of 60. Ball goes to the 20-yard line as the Bucks come back out on offense. And it's funny, we talked about those tiers in the IFL this year, and right now, I would make the argument, and many would argue differently, that Sioux Falls and Arizona are in a tier by themselves. I think Iowa is that next step down because, as you noted, they lost so much to Tucson as a part of the expansion. That defense isn't quite the same as it was last year from a coaching standpoint and a personnel, but Iowa is right in that next grouping, along with Nebraska, who I think leads that second tier. And then you get into the interesting conversation, the Quad City Steamwheelers, who were phenomenal yesterday. Do they belong in that second tier, or are they in that third group alongside a team like Cedar Rapids and maybe Green Bay?
Yeah, that's really tough to say. I think Iowa is a question mark. You know, obviously Coach Wooten is back, and he's a multi-year Coach of the Year winner. But, you know, the entire staff is gone. A lot of marquee players there. They, you know, they lost a handful of players, but, you know, they also got a lot of marquee guys back.
They
so
did.
I think as this thing plays out, you know, you're definitely going to see Iowa in that top tier. You know, I mean, I'm very excited to see what Coach Ross is going to do there in Quad Cities. You know, he's got a really good program. And, you know, if you look at those top teams, you look at Sioux Falls, they've got a ton of coaches. Every position has a lot of coaches.
Yep.
Arizona's the same way. Quad Cities, absolutely.
The same way.
Yeah, they've got great coaches. Every position is getting coached.
And what was remarkable about that was, as John G's trying to get a bounce there.
Yeah.
What was remarkable about that for the Wheelers was they were that way in Champions Indoor, where so few teams are that way. Quad Cities in their very first year last year, you look them down, they got 6-7 coaches.
Yeah.
And you go, whoa, this is different.
Yeah.
And that's not a brand new franchise per se. The Wheelers have existed before, but this time they really give the impression they're here to stay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Cedar Rapids is off to, Coach Stout is back, and Cedar Rapids off to a bit of a slow start. Obviously they dropped a really close game to Sioux Falls in game 1.
Yep.
A game that they could have easily won. But, and one of my former coaches, Coach Roberson, is the head coach now in Green Bay. And I'm kind of, obviously I'm rooting for him. I want to see him do really well and get that team going. But, they've got some things on offense they got to figure out.
Yeah. A season low that I don't think will be matched, and it's the all-time low in the IFL. 3 points scored by Green Bay against that Iowa defense. To your point, Iowa returning quite a bit. Anytime you limit somebody to 3 in the indoor game, as that's a personal foul against Sioux Falls. When you hold somebody to 3, you're doing something incredible.
And, their quarterback the week before was, if I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn he was the IFL, offensive MVP of the week.
Yep.
So they definitely have some things to figure out.
Sit up and down.
You can't just do it by running the football, quarterback runs.
No.
So this is going to be a great season. I'm excited about this season and watching this thing unfold. A lot of great coaches, a lot of great players.
A lot of great teams.
Absolutely.
And it's funny, you mentioned running the football as a Green Bay quarterback. Bucks got a taste of that firsthand. Matt Barrett, who was the quarterback for the Green Bay Blizzard, wound up starting and finishing the game for Tucson in what ordinarily was a 2-quarterback system. Barrett was phenomenal against the Bucks. He won Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Tucson kind of had a quarterback battle on their hands. You wonder how that's going in the game against the Rattlers. It sees them down at 21.
Yeah. And Tucson's a team I think that's going to factor into this deal. Watching them at home, they've definitely got some talent. A lot of penalties, a lot of undisciplined play at times, critical times, but they've got some players.
It is all Matt Barrett, by the way, so I'd imagine down 21, you'll be seeing Jake Medlock in short order for those Tucson Sugar Skulls, the better passer of the two, the former FIU quarterback. The back half of the rotation may have a chance to start. Barrett has been locked in that QB1 spot as of late.
Yeah, and I like your comment. I was watching the broadcast, and you had talked about how Tucson was built, Tucson being built from the inside out.
Yeah.
Their offensive line, very stout, very physical, nasty group, and I mean that in a good way.
Right.
Their defensive line, just really stout up front.
Got after it. Be a face mask here against Sioux Falls, half the distance and an automatic first down. Bucks closing in. Homer Causey back into the game, by the way, at quarterback. And I suppose that'll be a conversation too. The bye week might be the great equalizer here, as it gives John a bit of time to try and really get back to 100%. But with a difficult start to the year, and having seen both quarterbacks, you do wonder which way Rod will go against the Nebraska Danger. Causey, quarterback keeper, ball pops out. I think Deontay Thomas got to it first, and now a full-on pile for it. Sioux Falls signaling they have it. That's usually how that one goes. Bucks say they have it.
Judging by some of the Storm players' reactions, that's Bucks football.
Bucks will indeed hold on to the football.
Second down.
Deontay Thomas emerges from the bottom of that pile. The starting running back got to it. And you talk about injuries, losing Jeff Mack, difficult for a number of reasons. One, that's a real veteran leader on a pretty young team. And two, it really limits your depth. You've seen Deontay be almost at every snap at running back here in this ballgame.
Yeah, and that's tough. I mean, he should be able to handle those reps because, again, they're not relying on him.
Right.
But, I know Coach would love to be able to try to get him more involved in this game.
Causey faking the pitch. Homer Causey into the end zone. No, they're going to signal him just short. Coach Miller does have one challenge left if he wants to use it, but they're just going to call a play here.
Yeah, I think they probably said he got into that wall.
Yeah. Which I don't know if he did, but nevertheless.
Kind of thought when he was dancing along that wall, he hit it with his hand.
Yeah. Play clock's down to 1. Bucks have to call timeout. Don't want to delay a game when you're on the doorstep. Bismarck calls timeout. We'll take it with them. It's the second timeout for the Bucks. You're watching Buck Football on Beck Sports.
For those who thirst for more, Coors Light is colder, cleaner, and crisper. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
From concept to creation at House of Color, it's all about you and your remodel experience. Our cabinet design team creates engaging spaces to fit you and your lifestyle. The kitchen you've been waiting for is closer than you imagined. Call House of Color today.
Prairie Knights just raised the stakes on playtime with a $40,500 play-to-win giveaway. Get here this Sunday for your chance to win a matching cash prize and free play prize up to $500. And all you have to do is play your favorite game to qualify. If you're going to play, you might as well play to win.
After the timeout, let's see what the Bucks have. Trips to the right of Causey. Homer sees it deflected away. A nice play by Trey Wofford. He's been everywhere today for Sioux Falls.
Yeah, he is so good. It's easy to see. In 2017, he was the Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Last year, all IFL. And he's off to a fast start this season as well.
He was IFL Defensive Rookie of the Year with the Nebraska Danger. Marked a few years in a row that Nebraska had actually gotten the defensive Roy from a defensive back. 3 years in a row, in fact, and Sioux Falls continued to steal them. The highlight was Jabari Gorman, who played in Sioux Falls for a decade, finally getting his chance in the AAF, so the former Florida Gator no longer represented in Sioux Falls, much to my chagrin, if we're being honest. Jabari was in school when I was at UF, so it would have been fun.
Yeah. And Nebraska always had a reputation of being able to get some of the best football players in indoor football. Gosh, they were so talented.
Without a doubt. A timeout called by the Bucks. We'll take this opportunity to thank a few of the Bucks sponsors here, as Verge Fitness is the official Bucks workout facility, the home of the Regimen Fitness. It's where these guys go to lift. Verge Fitness. Pure Country, the official screen printer of the Bucks for all your screen printing needs. Buffalo Wild Wings, the official and only wing restaurant and bar. And well, these guys may be limited in their choice of beverage, but you certainly don't have to be at Buffalo Wild Wings. House of Color, the official sponsor of Tag, the Bucks mascot, who we got to see for the very first time here in the home opener. You saw him dictating the festive halftime mood here at the Bismarck Event Center. Also, shout out to Stadium Sports Bar, the official Bucks training table sponsor. Luckily, haven't had to say that too much tonight. Everybody largely emerging healthy. Prairie Knights Casino, alongside West River Chiropractic, the remaining official sponsors of Buck Football here in year 3. Preston Hamlet, the big man, rumbling into the end zone. Touchdown, Bucks.
It's actually a nice job by running that fly motion across the formation. They pull out that outside defender, and then it just becomes on a 4-on-4 battle there.
230 pounds of low man wins. Preston Hamlet, the running back out of Mayville State University, scores for the Bucks. A challenge flag comes out.
The Bucks would like to recognize Qdoba, one of our sponsors. Thank you, Qdoba, for your support.
Sioux Falls asking the question here in a game that's 52 to, as we sit, 16.
Sioux Falls is challenging that a player was in the box, motion players in the box at the snap. Officials timeout.
And Sioux Falls will challenge whether a player was in motion and in the box. So they're arguing that the Bucks have an illegal defense. As we told you, here in the IFL, you can challenge anything. If you see it, other than pass interference, you're allowed to go for it.
And that's a tough call. You know, the IFL is very strict about that. You know, I had a hard time the last couple years watching. You know, I was just, you know, watching the CFL. There'd be multiple guys in the box sometimes at that fly motion, but the IFL is very strict about that. That fly motion guy has to be out of the box. And basically, if you were to draw a line from the guard's foot all the way back, you know, either one of those guards back, they cannot have that motion guy within that box at the snap. And, you know, with the official's angle, it's really tough to see that live, especially from where he's at,
right,
offset. But
here comes the call.
It's a legitimate challenge.
Asking for the illegal offense. Again, it's very different from the NFL. You can challenge penalties, even if they weren't called. If you see it, you're allowed to call it out. Ultimately, it's a system that largely ensures the right call is going to be made more often than not. It does ask a lot of the officials and the coaches.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. The motion man was in the box at the snap.
Sioux Falls calls
it's a
it right.
5-yard penalty for illegal motion.
So an illegal
Bismarck,
motion against
5
the
yards.
Bucks.
Replay,
Touchdown
4th down.
off the board. That's the second touchdown this year for Preston Hamlet that's been taken off the board.
And that's a great challenge by the Storm. You know, and again, that's one of those areas where you benefit from having a lot of coaches, a lot of eyes on there, a lot of communication.
A lot of eyes.
And, you know, nobody really has done it better than Sioux Falls as far as seeing those little details and adjustments. I always felt when I competed against them, that was an advantage they had over us. Is they had the coaches, they had the eyes, they had guys making all of those adjustments. And again, that's the reason why they've hung a lot of banners.
We talk so often as broadcasters about second half adjustments, but this is a Sioux Falls team that is consistently changing. Causey diving towards the end zone. Ball popped out, but he crossed the goal line first. Bucks see the touchdown taken off, only to score it right back. Shift it from Preston Hamlet to Homer Causey.
Heck of a play by Causey there.
The former Texas Southern quarterback able to cash in. Sioux Falls is arguing once again. At this time, the official marker has not been thrown to cement that argument. Needed a new football as Homer threw that one into the stands. And now there is a new football, and the Bucks will go for 2.
One thing that he's going to need to do a better job of moving forward is ball security. Gosh, he holds that thing out there.
They go right back to him. Causey, QB sneak, good for 2. Held on to it that time. So the Bucks get 6+2, trying to create some offensive buzz heading into their matchup with the Nebraska Danger.
Bucks football is presented by the following. Rehab Authority, the official physical therapy facility of the Bucks. Stadium Sports Bar of Bismarck, the official sponsor of the Bucks training table. Cluton Property Management, the official housing partner of the Bucks. Bucks football is presented by the following. Buffalo Wild Wings, Qdoba, Poncheros, Bruno's Pizza, Cafe Aroma, Herberts and Gerberts, Bismarck Amvets, Bismarck Elks, Caribou Coffee, KFC, Taco Del Bar, and Stadium Sports Bar.
Just about 90 to go. could be a nice time for an onside kick here for Blake Levin and the Bucks. I think the official giving him the lowdown, a reminder on all the rules here as Sioux Falls loads the front. Just be a short kick. Bucks have a chance. That thing hung in the air forever, but it was recovered by Darian Miller.
That was not bad. That was close.
Avoided a couple upbacks. Gave your guys a chance to get it down the field. The unconventional onside kick nearly working.
Now, if I know Coach Riggs in the Storm, you know, this is the Bucks can't just sit back and think that they're going to burn out the clock. They're going to try to score, and they're going to continue to play until time runs out. So,
little revenge for the last touchdown. They aren't going to get this play off, though. 1 minute warning time here in North Dakota. 52-18. Storm going to win and spoil the home opener of the Bucks.
Prairie Knights just raised the stakes on playtime with a $40,500 play-to-win giveaway. Get here this Sunday for your chance to win a matching cash prize and free play prize up to $500. And all you have to do is play your favorite game to qualify. If you're going to play, you might as well play to win. Get to Prairie Knights for the play-to-win giveaway. And don't miss Charlie Pride live on Saturday, April 27th. Feel lucky tonight.
Bucks football is presented by the following: Buffalo Wild Wings, Qdoba, Poncheros, Bruno's Pizza, Cafe Aroma, Herberts and Gerberts, Bismarck Amvets, Bismarck Elks, Caribou Coffee, KFC, Taco Del Bar, and Stadium Sports Bar.
Back we come here at the 1 minute mark. Corey Brooks alongside IFL Hall of Famer Robert Fuller on the call for you here for every single Buck home game. Camera crew Patrick Conte, Jesse Schwab, and Scott Lurch back at the Beck Studios at the University of Mary. It is Chris DeGaulle and Jordan Lowry. They go option, Miller exploding through and brought down just shy of midfield, a gain of 9 for Darian Miller. That's going to be the biggest thing for these Bucks. You think back to that week 1 game against the Danger. Tommy Armstrong was great, but it was the play of Devontae Sapp Lynch that was the difference. Marshawn Lynch's younger brother, basically a 100-yard day against the Bucks in the season opener.
And that guy is good.
Yeah.
Wow, I was very impressed with, you know, he's built low to the ground, great leverage, runs low, makes cuts. He really does a great job.
Runs a lot like his brother. We talked about Fred Jackson, Marshawn Lynch, that battery in Buffalo for a minute there alongside CJ Spiller. And that is the final play. Sioux Falls will call off the Dogs, a couple of runs, and 52-18. The opening salvo of the duel for the Dakotas goes to the guys from the South. Storm win it 52-18. A quick step aside, our player of the game, and we wrap up game 1 here from Bismarck.
For those who thirst for more, Coors Light is colder, cleaner, and crisper. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
From concept to creation at House of Color, it's all about you and your remodel experience. Our cabinet design team creates engaging spaces to fit you and your lifestyle. The kitchen you've been waiting for is closer than you imagined. Call House of Color today.
Hi, I'm Adam Thielen. On behalf of Choice Bank, I'm proud to announce and congratulate the People First Player of the Game. This outstanding athlete is an inspiration to their team and community. The Thielen Foundation and Choice Bank are committed to helping people reach their full potential.
Without a doubt today, Coach, the player to watch in a Buck uniform was Mike Tatum. He consistently ran open, and the kickoff return for a touchdown to open up the second half. A little house call for Mike Tatum against his former team.
Yeah, it's got to feel good for Mike to be able to do, be able to get one in there. I'm sure he wished he had a few more in there, but nice job by Mike tonight.
Ran open all day. Bucks will try and get him in sync over the course of the bye week. As the Storm get the win, 52-18. So remember, a week off here for the Bucks. Gives them a chance to retool the roster, get back after a tough home opening loss. And then they welcome in the Nebraska Danger for the first ever round 2 in the Indoor Football League. That's going to do it for us here in Bismarck. So for our camera crew, Scott Lurch, Patrick Conte, and Jesse Schwab, as well as the group back-to-back studios at the University of Mary, Chris DeGaulle and Jordan Lowry, as well as for my broadcast partner, Robert Fuller. I'm Corey Brooks. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see you in a couple weeks as the Danger Zone comes to Bismarck.
What happened to us? We used to gather in proud arenas. Now we're watching March Madness while stuck in work holes.
Loser.
Jerk. Or shoved in man caves. We've been left alone with a DVR replay while trying not to wake a baby. Enough! Let's make our Fanchesters proud and follow the tribe to B-dubs so we can fill our beers, crush all the wings, and pound every single game. You want madness? That's March Madness. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Bucks football is presented by the following. Baker Family Medicine, the official healthcare provider of the Bucks. Buffalo Wild Wings, the official and only wing restaurant bar sponsor of the Bucks. Verge Fitness, the official workout facility of the Bucks.
From concept to creation at House of Color, it's all about you and your remodel experience. Our cabinet design team creates engaging spaces to fit you and your lifestyle. The kitchen you've been waiting for is closer than you imagined. Call House of Color today.
Coors Light has a lighter, crisper taste. So you're ready for what's next. Coors Light, the world's most refreshing.